I haven't used it yet, but Kolari has announced pre-orders for L-mount clip-in OLPF filters. That's right. If you shoot Lumix S5 Mark II, S5 2X, S9, S1 II, S1 IIe, any of those 24 megapixel Lumix full frame cameras, you will now be able to pre-order a clip-in OLPF, and results may vary, but what they are showing is very, very promising. If you go over to Instagram and you look up Kolari Vision, you can see these filters, and they do kind of clip in. This is something you can do yourself via these like sticky little, I don't know, sticky magnets that you put inside the camera sensor. They make these for all sorts of cameras, whether you're shooting Canon or Sony, Lumix, Blackmagic, plenty of options out there. They've got infrared, IR cut. They've got all sorts of cool stuff you can do with these clip-in filters, basically a filter behind the lens. You're probably familiar with filters you'd put in front of the lens, such as variable NDs, black mist, all sorts of cool stuff you can do in front of the lens, but now you can do a lot of that stuff behind the lens as well. And this is really exciting from a Lumix shooter's perspective, because I think the only full frame Lumix camera that has an OLPF is the S1H. I might be wrong on that. Maybe there's some other full frame Lumix camera that I'm unaware of that's L-mount that has an OLPF, but the S1H definitely has it, and people love the image out of there. You know, a lot of the newer stuff that doesn't have the OLPF, people say is a little too crisp, a little too detailed, you know, too sharp. They love that softness that comes with the S1H. And from my perspective, I'll just speak quite frankly and candidly, the difference between an S1H and an S5 Mark II when it comes to the visual quality wasn't really worth it for me when it came to the compromises that would be required for the S1H. So bigger, no phase hybrid autofocus, the S5 Mark II, smaller, lighter, cheaper, significantly cheaper, and it has that phase hybrid autofocus. So when I was weighing the pros and cons of each, I went with the S5 Mark II, even though it might not be the absolute best image quality that Lumix has to offer in their full frame cameras. At the time, it made sense. And oftentimes we're trading one thing for the other. But now we have the opportunity to add an OLPF ourselves to some of these cameras. The S5 Mark II is the one I'll be trying it with because I have pre-ordered this. I'm excited to test it out. It's not cheap. This isn't, $10, $20 kind of thing. This is a $300 filter, and that's pretty steep. But if you understand the benefits of an OLPF, maybe you're inclined to pre-order it, because if you don't pre-order it, it's going to be $350 later once they do their full production run. And there's some skepticism around if this is a true OLPF. Is it close enough to the sensor, or is it going to affect IBIS? Is it going to affect the phase hybrid autofocus? Lots of things to consider, but for those minor benefits that the OLPF adds, I'm kind of excited to try it out and test, and I'll let you know my results once I get this. I don't know when it's going to ship. I think maybe later this month or next month, something like that. Again, it's only on pre-order, so I haven't tested it myself, but once I do, I'll let you know my results. And I am looking to optimize the S5 Mark II because that's probably my favorite Lumix camera right now. I go back and forth between Micro Four Thirds and the GH7 and all that it has to offer, and then the full frame offerings from Lumix with the S5 Mark II, just such a powerful camera. I also have an S5 2X. More or less, those are interchangeable the way I use them. So if you feel like you want the blackout logo, you can get that. It does have some extra benefits with the S5 2X, but the S5 II is a more than worthy camera. And now we've got the newest additions to the full frame flagship lineup, the S1 II, the S1R2, the S1 IIe. I haven't personally used any of those cameras. They're not quite bridging that gap, offering something significantly new for me coming from the S5 Mark II, a camera that never overheats. I mean, I can't say never, but it's never overheated on me. And I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I've shot in the summer outdoors in full sun. The S5 II has always stood up to the task. And I think even for a time period, I didn't even have it on thermal high, or maybe that was the GH7. I forget which one it was, but these are really robust amazing cameras, but that extra little 1% benefit of an OLPF in something like an S5 Mark II gets me very, very excited. This is something I actually asked Kolari to do. I emailed them saying, hey, do you ever do something like this? Because they offer conversions where you send your camera in and they'll do a full conversion for you. Kind of expensive, and you're down a camera for a period of time. Maybe, I think it's at least a few weeks, probably like 2 to 3 weeks, more like 4 to 6. I don't know exactly because I didn't go through with it. Because even at the time when I was looking at doing this type of conversion of the camera, I was looking at my production schedule going like, okay, maybe I could sacrifice one of these cameras to go get converted and have this done. They weren't accepting orders at that time. I think their engineer or whoever does the conversion was on vacation or something like that. So it never worked out for them to do the conversion. And I think that's even more expensive, right? Time, commitment, all that stuff. This way you get to do it yourself. And if the results are as good as this video shows, which I'll just show again here for a second, you can kind of take a look here, what they've got going on. I mean, I think this is exaggerated a little bit for marketing purposes. I've never quite seen moire, whatever, however you say it, whatever you like to call it. I've never seen it that bad on S5 Mark II, but again, lots of fabrics are different. There's some really tight patterns out there in the wild, especially if you do any corporate business or even weddings. Sometimes there'll be like a very like mesh knit, lacy kind of thing. It can be pretty wild. And what's even crazier is that your eyes will do this too. If you ever look at a screen door or something, or if you have two mesh kind of fabrics on top of each other in real life, you'll get this effect with your own eyeballs, with your own vision. It's just the nature of the tiniest microscopic details coming together and creating these interesting patterns. On camera though, we don't really like it. We find it unpleasing. I just saw it in the Jared Polin, Peter McKinnon interview shot on the Canon R5 Mark II. You see some moire there in the background behind Jared. It is what it is. A lot of people don't even notice it. They don't even see it, quite frankly. A lot of regular viewers out there, but there'll be time, from time to time, a client or someone who, maybe is on set and they're looking at the footage and going, what is this rainbow texture here? Like I said, I've never seen it to this degree with the S5 Mark II, but it has come up less than 1% of the time. And I think, quite frankly, the only times I've actually been an issue was when I was doing photography with the S5 Mark II, and Lightroom has a slider for a moire that you can, deactivate it a little bit or downplay it. So hasn't been a huge issue in video, but I know for the people who have had this problem, again, every fabric out there is kind of different. The circumstances, the lenses you're shooting with, although the lens itself often doesn't solve the issue. Like if you try and soften it with a black mist or any kind of satin filter on the front, usually that doesn't do the trick. It's where those details are actually hitting on the sensor that causes the problem. And so getting an OLPF in there can be the solution. This is optimized, they say, for those 24 megapixel cameras. So something like the S1R Mark II, the resolution on that sensor is a lot greater. So you may have, varying, the results may vary, I guess I'll say. This has been optimized for those 24 megapixel sensors, which are quite frankly the most common popular Lumix L-mount variants that are out there. So plenty of them out there, the S9, the S5 Mark II, the S5 IIX, the S1 II, the S1 IIe, lots of these types of cameras out in the wild. So this will work for most of them. Even like an older camera, like an S5, I think it would work, although I don't see that many people talking about the S5. It's all about the S5 II. Really seems to be the biggest a moneymaker for people shooting Lumix out there when they're doing client work. Lots of S5 Mark IIs, but now it's starting to transition to the S1 Mark II. I think people are happy with that as well. I'm excited that this is now an option. Again, I don't know if it's going to be quite this impressive from a results standpoint, because this, I mean, when you look at this, this is like kind of extreme. But, maybe there's a suit out there that is actually that bad. Maybe it's a exporting thing. Maybe it's a Final Cut preview thing, a Premiere preview thing. Lots of ways that in this level of moire can be introduced. But at least it's not happening on the sensor. With, you know, fingers crossed that this OLPF works out, that it doesn't affect IBIS, that it doesn't affect phase hybrid autofocus, all those good things, right? I don't want to sacrifice anything. I wanted the addition to come with no sacrifice, no compromise. And I'll let you know what I think. Install. Kolari has some videos over on their YouTube channel that show how to install this system. Basically, those stickies with the magnetic stuff that goes inside the sensor, and then any of their filters, if it's for that mount, will just clip in magnetically. They pop in, they pop out. Looks pretty seamless, but I haven't done the process myself yet. So I'm excited to do that with something like this. I can't commit to putting, you know, black satin, black diffusion, black pro mist. I can't put any of that stuff behind the lens. I can't commit that much. I can't even throw an ND filter back there because the environment changes too quickly. I can't even commit to, you know, some kind of crazy, any other kind of gold, teal, or whatever crazy filters they have that you can pop in there. I can't commit to that, but I could certainly see myself throwing in an OLPF for the softening benefits, just upgrading that footage. Even if it is a 1% improvement, I will take it because it is the one, you know, not the only difference, but one of the major differences between the S5 Mark II and the S1H. So I'm excited to get my hands on it. Hopefully these start shipping soon. And I just wanted to let you know in case this is something you're also interested in testing. $300 isn't cheap. So buyer beware. It says shipping is expected to begin within 8 weeks of the pre-order launch. So we have a little bit of time. Customers will be notified via email with tracking information once their order ships. So still a ways out, but this is happening right now. And if it is truly a pre-order and, you know, inventory is limited, there may be, you know, that small window where you could get it and then have to wait even longer for the full production run. So stay tuned and we'll see.